Girls have this scrap here. There's 2 days and I just never got around to lifting it. That'll be coming out the other day. Come on. Come on. Come on, girls. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. What's up with you, Moudini? Always every morning. What's the crack? Come on. Yeah, very pleasant as always. Morning to you too. Come on, come on, come on. We'll open this here and then go straight over the lane. I have a paddock set for them last night, so they can go straight over there now. Yeah, you see Moudini doesn't like to race, he just likes to be pushed in the whole way. People do ask a lot of times why I wet down the parlour. So wet down the parlour, I wet down the rubbers and stuff on the cows, keep them nice and wet, and that time then when you come to clean at the end, nothing stuck to the ground, makes it much easier. If you didn't do that, you'll have a much harder job trying to get it off because it'll stick to the concrete. So you might see me pulling down a few strigs out of each cow. You see it there on the ground. You might wonder, why is he doing that? There's quite an easy explanation for that. There's 2 things really. One, we're checking to make sure the milk is clean and clear and it doesn't have any mastitis or any lumps or crud in it. Second of all, we're pulling it down because it encourages the cow to let down her milk, because a couple of seconds after you do that, you'll find that the milk will start spraying out by itself. It just encourages her to let down her milk, and she'll milk much faster for it as well. And that's why we strig down our cows. So these jars at the minute are all just preset to make this run through. So what happens is they'll only half fill until they get to the level of the milk line, which is here. So you can see the milk line here is probably level with this. And as soon as it gets to that level, it just pours out itself into this. And away it goes into the main jar. You see that little steel ball that's on a kind of a stem? Well, that steel ball will float up and down that stem, and when the milk comes up under it, it'll float and it'll go up to a certain height. And when it gets to a certain height, that's called a probe, which is electrified. And you have 12 volt kind of a system. It tells the pump to turn on. Every so often, I change the way this works. I want to check to see how much each cow is given, basically. And I can do that by these air switches, which are a very basic system, but it works perfectly. And both of them up like that will hold the milk. No milk would ever get away. And then you can pour it down here into a bucket. If a cow has been calved or if you penicillin or something in our milk. And then there's other settings where you can flick it down this way, which I don't want to do now is on the cow, it'll fall off her. But if I flick it the opposite way around, it will release the milk down into a bucket, or both of them down will just drain the jar completely. Sometimes when I'm milking, I'd have both of them up like that when this is emptied, and then when I take it off that cow and put it on this one, I flick them down, I empty the jar before I put it on the next cow, and that tells me exactly how much milk she's given. I don't do that all the time, I'm not doing it this morning, but it gives you kind of an understanding how that works, all running purely off these little air pipes on the vacuum pump. Then the milk travels in here and down this pipe into the tank. Open up the tank here, you get a quick look in, and we get our first pour going in now of milk in a second or two. Come on, up. Now we're getting towards the end. Lovely. Right on where my hand has to go. Where is she? Moudini, I'm definitely feeling you done that. Yeah, lovely. I just open this gate here. I'll close this over again the wall. That keeps them last four that's left in that row up in their place. And now I can open this gate, and these ones can run straight out and over the field. I'm not holding them back too long. As soon as I can get them out, get them out. Have a good day at school, girls. So that's the cow sorted there now for the day. It's just gone 8:15 now in the morning, and that is the last section of that paddock they're going to be eating today, so we were fit to let them straight into it. Now, what I normally do in the mornings, before breakfast, I put up a couple of fences. I put up one, well, normally it's only one I move, but because today they're on the last section of that field, I'm going to put a fence up here, which would be for tomorrow's grazing, and when we get home we're going to put one up then for tonight's grazing. So I'm going to put up 2 fences. Sorry, it is a bit windy here now this morning. I'm going to put 2 fences, one for tomorrow, just to have it done, and one for the night. I always put the one up for the night, definitely it's a must. And that way when I come to milk this evening, if I'm late or whatever, if I'm away, at least it's done. I only have to bring the cows in and have no fences to move. That's kind of the way I do it for handiness. When I have time, that's the way I do it. So let's get that sorted now. See how hard it is to get the pegs into the ground. That fence is a bit short. It's a new fence and I just haven't put enough line on it, so I'll do that later on today, but you get the general idea. We're just after taking it down from up there, so the cows will be going up there tonight and then they'll be going in here tomorrow night. So that's the night paddocks, and then the one you've seen us doing first, that'll be for daytime, so we get another 3 days in that paddock, and then they'll be coming down here. There's a fence already up down this other one here, splitting it in half, and that'll be 2 more days. So it does save me a lot of time by doing it this way, because although I'm filming it now, it takes a bit of time. All right, yes, I was on my own here, I'd have all them 3 fences moved in 10 minutes. I'd have the whole thing done and set up, and I don't have to move any fences now for 2 days. It's extremely handy. That means tonight when I'm bringing in the cows, I just have to bring them in, close the gate behind them, open up the paddock, it's ready to go. The same tonight and tomorrow night. Just makes it an awful lot easier. So that's it, that's my morning routine. I'm just standing here with the shelter of the shed, so that wind, you can hear me across the mic. But that's kind of the run of the mill. I just said this morning I'd bring the GoPro with me and just give you an idea of my morning routine, and that's the normal run of it. What I'll do now is I'll go down and get my breakfast, and then I'll come up and I'll bring all the bits and pieces I need to go to the other farm, and I'll check my calves and feed my calves and check my heifers and go around all them routine things. And I suppose then about 10 o'clock I'll have all that done, and then I can go off and start my day's work, and then start it all over again about 5:30 this evening. Everything comes back in and we do it all again. But it's part of the thing that I love. It's a routine that I really enjoy. I enjoy milking. Some people despise the milking. I can never understand that, because most of the time when I'm milking, I'm thinking about what I have to do either that evening or the following morning. It gives me good time to reflect on what I have to get done and jobs like that. So yeah, I do enjoy the milking. I don't find it a problem at all. This, obviously, some Sunday mornings, if you're out the night before, it doesn't be that impressive. The moral of the story is, I know a lot of young people watch what I do here on the channel, and a lot of families sit down and watch. And I like to go into detail explaining the things that I do, but not overdo it, if you get me, because I still understand the audience that are watching. A lot of them from the non-farming background. And at least when you watch channels like my own and channels like several others, whether it's beef, sheep, it doesn't make any difference. You're getting a kind of a better insight that only for YouTube never really got seen before. And thankfully that YouTube is there, because now there's so many farming channels across the world. You're getting to see all the different types of farming and the way practices are run. Because, God forsake, if you went by what you read in the media or what you see in documentaries that are, some of them are rough, there's no doubt about it, and some of the stuff that's shown should never happen, but you can't smear everybody with the one cloth. It just, life does not work like that. Everybody is different, and if some man does his thing or treats his animals the wrong way, which I'd be fully against, doesn't mean I would or the next person would, because I think an awful lot of what I do, and it just is my, it's hard to explain it, it's not just my job, and it's, as I say, it's my lifestyle, but it's more than that. It's part of who we are, it's part of what's in our blood, and it's something that I really enjoy. And it is hard work, but it's enjoyable, and when something's enjoyable, it's not really a job, is it? When I'm on Facebook in different places, I look at sites that are representing farming or farming news, and I've noticed this last while, especially in the dairy sector, some of the headlines, some of the titles that they're using is clickbait. That's what it is, to draw you in. It emphasizes that someone's doing something wrong, or it just has a bad vibe to it. It's obviously written by someone who hasn't got a notion about farming, and that's the problem. Most of the people who write these things and report on these things, whether it's a newsreader, someone on the radio, I've heard a few of those as well. I heard one guy on the radio said that he had a great farming background. When someone questioned him about his knowledge of farming, he said his great-great-grandfather was a farmer, so he was an expert then because of that. And it's mind-boggling stuff. So I think media companies look to flourish on that. Negativity seems to be the in thing. It's the style now. A headline that sells, regardless of who it discriminates, it makes them money, and that unfortunately seems to be all that's important. The only thing I fear about all that is what kind of an impact it's having on our younger generation. So I would say this out straight to young people that are watching: if your mum or your dad is farming and you enjoy it and you have a love for animals or machinery or whatever it is, do something with that. Don't be afraid to. It doesn't matter how small you are or how big you are. It all contributes, and if it's something you enjoy, I promise you it'll be really, really rewarding, because it's tough, hard work, but it can be very pleasing and keeps your mind fresh and sharp, and that's what I like about it. I can go up there into my hills and move fences and nobody's hassling me. I'm not having to deal with anybody else. I'm my own boss, and you're looking around the countryside, and sometimes you do tap yourself on the shoulder and say, you know, I am quite lucky, and my kids are quite lucky to grow up and witness this. So I would say to you young lads, sometimes maybe turn off the PlayStation, maybe turn off the phone, go outside and enjoy what's there in front of you, because the biggest playground is right on your doorstep, and they are the ones where you'll make the memories that you will remember. I promise you that. Anyway folks, thanks very much for watching. Until the next one, we'll talk to you again.